You're listening to Kizuki, the podcast. I'm Mae Yoshikawa, and I define the Japanese concept of Kizuki as the following. Kizuki. 1. A moment of epiphany, an aha of realization or insight which opens the knower to a new dimension of truth that was formerly unknown. 2. Steps in an incremental growth of awareness, resulting in a movement from ignorance to greater awareness of the bigger picture. A kind of knowing that cannot be undone, that cannot be unrealized. As a longtime yoga and meditation practitioner, a world traveler, and curious self-explorer, I'm obsessed with Kizukis. Listen on each week for inspiring and enlightening stories that may just tip you over for your next aha. On this week's episode, Recreation of Identity. Today I want to talk to you guys about all of the times in my life that I necessarily had to change who I was to become who I needed to be. In my life, as I recall, this shift in identity, this shift in who I am, or more accurately put, who I thought I was, giving way to who I am, happened almost all times at times of hitting rock bottom. That is to say, the shift, the recreation of my identity happened as a result of absolute necessity. There was no other way for me to survive. Let me give you an example. I used to say that I have experienced 3 personal tsunamis in my life. The tidal waves being that of life experiences that completely wiped me out. I didn't know which way was up or down. I didn't even know whether I was going to survive. And it swallowed me whole. The first was my parents' divorce when I was age 14 going on 15. Oh, so famous as the easy, smooth period of anyone's life, right? Not. Oh man, it's hard enough to be going through puberty and trying to figure out who you're going to be as a person, as a young adult. But to go through my parents' divorce, a sudden, messy, ugly, mean to each other kind of split up after 26 years of marriage and 4 kids, I was major collateral damage in this mix. And I was hurt, so wounded, and so emotionally broken. I was swallowed whole. What I couldn't tell you then, what I could only tell you in hindsight, was that I couldn't survive as the same person. I used to be a young girl who grew up in what I thought to be a wholesome family dynamic. Now, we were a pretty wild family, so it was in no ways peaceful, but I wholly believed and never doubted that I came from a loving family with loving parents and loving siblings. That all crumbled, and so my identity, my self-image, and my belief in knowing myself as a young girl coming from a wholesome, loving family, that idea couldn't survive the experience of my parents' divorce. In the following years, I needed to figure out, well, who else I could be. And I'll tell you, that took many years and a lot of challenges. Fast forward a couple of decades, I'm going to refer to a more recent event in my life, and that's the passing of my young husband. I lost my beloved husband and the father to my 2 boys in a sudden traffic accident in 2018. That's about 6 years ago. And of course, as we all do when we marry someone, I intended to spend the rest of my life with this beautiful, awesome, loving man. We both did. We wanted to spend all of the rest of our days together and age together and, yeah, just support each other as family. And that only lasted a few years before a very sudden and shocking accident killed him instantly. And when that happened, the identity of Mae, the Mae who was so sure that she was going to spend the rest of her life with this beautiful man, that idea of Mae, wife of husband, could not survive because that Mae died with him. I was in a dark, deep, long tunnel because for the longest time, I had no idea who else I would be. I just knew that I couldn't be Mae, wife of husband, anymore because he was gone. Again, at the time, as I was going through the grief and through the gradual and eventual process of healing through grief, I didn't exactly have a handle on, oh, I'm trying to recreate my identity. That comes in hindsight. I was just going through the actual process of moping through the darkness and trying to look for my next step, the next way to go. And here's the thing. So many of my students, right, when we're talking about meditation and mindfulness and things, they ask me great questions, but they ask me questions like, well, what do I do next? What's the next right step forward? And there's a sense of, I don't want to make a mistake. I want to take the right step forward. And the truthful answer to that question is, there is no right answer. And I actually happen to believe that there's not really a wrong answer too. There are steps that we might call mistakes that we learn from, that we learn lessons from. But as long as we're learning lessons, nothing is wasted. Nothing is a complete mistake. In terms of recreating who you are, recreating your identity, the only thing to do is come back. Come back to who you are in the moment, to this inhale, this exhale, this next thought that might pull you forward, that might nudge you to your next excitement, or the next idea that moves you away from something, someplace you don't want to be. Maybe it's a scent, or maybe it's just a whisper of a sense that makes you want to reach for your pet. Anything to keep you alive, for you to just be you. And it really is that simple. Identity is not an idea, not truly. True identity is based on being. All you have to do is be. Just be.
Thank you for listening. Learn more about me in my upcoming book, Kizuki, Realizations Beyond Time and Death, at my website, maey.live, or find me on Instagram at maey Yoshikawa.